Hello everybody. Welcome to Take One, where everything is done in one take. This video is in response to a recent Yaron Brook show on YouTube entitled, Do Conservatives Believe in Freedom? I want to start by reading a few quotes by some foundational conservative luminaries. The first would be Edmund Burke, who lived from 1729 to 1797. Burke was an English political philosopher who is often seen as laying the foundations for modern conservatism. He wrote a letter to a Frenchman just prior to the French Revolution, and he said, "Permit me then to continue our conversation and to tell you what the freedom is that I love, and that to which I think all men entitled. This is more necessary because of all the loose terms in the world, liberty is the most indefinite. It is not solitary, unconnected, individual selfish liberty as if every man was to regulate the whole of his conduct by his own will. The liberty I mean is social freedom. It is the state of things in which liberty is secured by equality of restraint. A constitution of things in which the liberty of no one man and no body of men and no number of men can find means to trespass on the liberty of any person or any description of persons in the society. This kind of liberty, indeed, is but another name for justice, ascertained by wise laws and secured by well-constructed institutions." And that was written in 1789. Another luminary in the conservative world is Dr. Russell Curt. He lived from 1918 to 1994. He wrote Conditions of Freedom in Commonweal magazine in 1956. "It is quite possible for man, in ancient or modern times, to be material prosperous and freed from the necessity of choice, and yet servile. It is also possible he may suffer no outrageous oppression. But he must always lack one thing, this servile man, and that is true manhood, the dignity of man. He remains a child. He never comes into man's birthright, which is the pleasure and pain of making one's choices." And by making one's choices, I'm assuming that's what he means by freedom. A third luminary would be William F. Buckley. He lived from 1921 to 2006. Buckley is known as the father of American conservatism. Buckley got along quite well with Ayn Rand until his magazine published a review of Atlas Shrugged in 1959. Buckley did note in a 2003 interview with Charlie Rose, Atlas Shrugged was the #1 best-selling novel in the world until that time. And here's a few quotes from Mr. Buckley. "The government can't do anything for you except in proportion as it can do something to you." Another quote, and this is from his first book, "Democracy can itself be as tyrannical as a dictatorship, since it is the extent, not the source of government power that impinges on freedom." Another quote this is from his third book, Up from Liberalism. I will not cede more power to the state. I will not willingly cede more power to anyone, not to the state, not to General Motors, not to the CIO. I will hoard my power like a miser, resisting every effort to drain it away from me. I will then use my power as I see fit." And once again, we're talking about freedom, of course. These quotes are very short snippets, but I do believe they illustrate that conservatives do indeed believe in freedom, freedom from tyranny. Conservatives believe in the rights of the minority, especially the rights of the ultimate minority, and that would be the minority of one, the individual. In my opinion, conservatives believe in freedom and value freedom. Perhaps Mr. Brook needs to take a deeper dive into the fundamentals of American conservatism before ranting on what he sees as perceived shortcomings. That's all I have. Thank you for watching.